Hey guys, Zach Green here from Trident Armory shooting team in Mark 7 reloading. It's going to be a great day today, but we've got the Apex 10 press getting ready to set up our second press. We do have the Apex 10 here fully automated behind me in 38 Super Comp. Been shooting a lot more limited optics, so I wanted to get started with another Apex, and we'll eventually be automating. So I thought I'd do a video just kind of going through all of the unboxing, all the different components, and how we get this press set up. Hope you guys enjoy. So before the actual unboxing of the press, I thought we'd go over a little bit what you expect to get in the box when you do purchase your Apex 10 press. So this is a mechanical press, 10 station, tons of opportunities to be able to customize that for whatever reloading needs are. Also comes with the 11-inch Mark 7 case feeder, mechanical powder drop, and this gives you the opportunity later on to be able to fully automate this press, save you the time from pulling the handle, allow this press to do its work just by pressing a button. Some of the other features and products that we purchased are the double alpha Mr. Bullet feeder. I've got the Mark 7 mirror assembly, the offloading port, the new double alpha tool head light. I have their plate for the case feeder as well. I've got the FW arms hold down die, as well as the decapping die. And then a couple other products from Double Alpha for the Mr. Bullet feeder. This is their new preset nose guide to help to eliminate the use of the shims that you used to use with the first generation Mr. Bullet feeder. And then it also has the tensioning spring, makes that Mr. Bullet feeder that much more consistent. So let's break into this thing. All right, so we just got everything all unboxed. Let's go over what we have here. This is the Mark 7 offloading chute. This is the Double Alpha tool head light, the Mark 7 mirror to be able to see what you have left for bullets as well as cases in your feeders. The plate from Double Alpha for the case feeder. This is going to replace the shims for our bullet feeder. The Mr. Bullet feeder itself. This is the tensioning screw for the Mr. Bullet feeder. We have our FW arms, both hold down and decap dies, and then all of the other products that we need to make the Mr. Bullet feeder set up. So let's break into the Apex 10. All right, it is time. Let's break into the Apex 10 press and see what we've got. So you've got the priming system here, the mechanical powder measure, your handle, hardware and accessories. You've got your manual, the case feeder, and the press itself. All right, so we have just finished unboxing all the goodies that come in the Apex 10 box aside from the press itself. So what you see here, you've got the mechanical powder measure, you've got the primer tube as well as low primer sensor, all the different mounting hardware that you need for that. Your handle comes with a lineman hold down die, all the mounting supplies you need for the base, the 11-inch case feeder with the mounting supply that you need for that, as well as all the required hardware to get that up and going. So everything in the box aside from the press core. Let's take a look at that. The press itself. Let's see what's in the box. Okay, there it is, the Apex 10 press. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do with the Apex 10 press is this does come compressed with the zip tie. This is under a pretty significant amount of tension, so you want to take an 11/16" wrench or an adjustable on this side to be able to ease that tool head up, and then cut the zip tie. And now you can ease that press up so that's not slamming, doing any damage to your press. All right, so this is now in the up position. From here, we are going to flip that and we'll install the feet. Lift that back up. To get the handle on, you have two pieces here. This is the shaft key. This slides over the shaft key and the handle slides into this. So the shaft key slides right on the bottom here. The handle assembly is going to slide right over the top of that. Your handle is going to slide into here. And there are some set screws. It does also allow for some adjustability of height. This set screw is a 3/16 hex head. That tightens up there. Now you can bring this down so you can access these. This is a 1/8 inch hex head. So we'll tighten those up. Okay. And that's your handle assembly. Once we get ready to start mounting the press, you really want to think about, if you plan to automate, giving yourself enough room on your workbench to be able to efficiently have that placed, so you're not having to reposition that multiple times. When you do automate it, it does come with a stand, so you would no longer actually use the mounting plate directly through your workbench, but it comes with a stand for that. The dimensions of this from front to back are about 24.5 inches. In total width from the case feeder all the way to the auto drive itself is about 31 inches. The base itself is roughly 16 inches in width. So it does give you an idea of what you're going to need if you plan to automate it and how much space you need to have on your workbench for that. So we're going to get ready to install the case feeder. The press is not mounted to my workbench. I do plan to automate this in the very near future, so I am not going to mount it, but you would have wanted to mount the press, and you want to make sure that in the fully down position that you have enough clearance in between the handle and your workbench. But to start installing the case feeder, we're going to switch our attention to the left side of the press. And here we are going to have 2 pole mounts that are going to go here. And these are all going to tighten up with a 3/16 inch hex head. Now to mount the lower pole and the upper pole for the case feeder, you'll know that the lower pole only has 2 holes in it, whereas the upper pole has 3 holes, which will attach to the case feeder. So from here, this lower pole is going to slide through this. You're going to use the smaller of the 2 spacers, the 5/8 inch. That will tighten to here. Up top, you're going to use the larger of the 2 spacers, which is a 1 1/4 inch spacer. That bolt will slide through. We're going to tighten both those up. Now the pole connectors, that's going to slide in through here, and you have 4 screws on either side. Those are a 3/16. Now the upper pole mounting bracket will slide right on top of this, and that will also tighten up with 4 screws on either side. We are now going to install the case feeder onto the mounting bracket. It slides on like this. These 3 screws fit into the side here. Our next step is to install the case feed adapter onto the press itself. There are 2 mounting screws that slide in the mounting hardware. This does also allow for easy 90-degree rotation to be able to remove the cases while setting up the press. These tighten up with a hex head on the top. There are also 2 drop tubes, one for small and one for large cases. We're going to be installing the smaller of the 2. We'll then install the case feeder spring assembly onto the case feeder and then down into the drop tube itself. There is a set screw that will tighten up onto the drop tube assembly. We are going to get our primer tube assembly set up. It comes with both your small and large inner primer tube. We're going to put the small primer tube in. This cap slides onto here. And then your low primer alarm is going to snap over the top of this. And that will give an audible alarm when your primers are low. This is going to mount on the back of the press, and there are 2 screws that will slide into here. So we're now going to install the mechanical powder drop into station 6. So starting from the case feeder being station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is where our powder measure is going to go. So we're going to screw that in about halfway. And once we're about halfway, we'll lock this down. There is a set screw right here, which will loosen up. And we're going to project the powder measure toward the center of the press and tighten that back up. So we are ready for the Mr. Bullet Feeder to get that set up. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that the new Mr. Bullet Feeder is actually coming with the tension spring already mounted to it. I did also add in the nose guide, which is a really nice product to have you be able to avoid using the shims if you've ever had to use those in the past. So the mount for this slides on like so. We'll get that tightened up, and that's going to slide right onto the back with this 1-inch spacer going to leave in place. So we'll get that set up right now. We now have the Mr. Bullet Feeder installed in the press. The dropper tube is actually going to go into station 8. So station 1 is where our cases come out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is where our powder measure went. 7, 8 is where our bullet feeder is going to go. So we'll adjust all this as we start to get the press set up. But for now, we'll just put that in place. So we've just finished setting up our Apex 10 press. We got our Mr. Bullet Feeder on, case feeder is mounted. We just finished putting on the Double Alpha Academy tool headlight as well. We're ready to put our dies all in. So station 1 is going to be where we are picking up our case from our case feeder. Station 2 is set up as a decap die from FW Arms. Station 3 is for swaging, and this is our hold down die from FW Arms. Station 4 is resizing. I've taken out that decap pin because we've already completed that in station 2. This is also where we're going to be picking up our primer. In station 5 is our case flare. Station 6 is going to be for our powder drop. Station 7 can be set up for your powder measure. Station 8 is going to be where our Mr. Bullet Feeder is. Station 9 is our seating die, and then station 10 is our crimp die. So we're going to go get some cases, and we'll get all these dies finely tuned. All right, to set up our decap die, we're going to bring the press all the way down to its lowest position. And we want this to just touch the shell plate. And we'll tighten that down. This is our hold down die. So same thing, we're going to bring this all the way down. And we're going to screw this down. And we'll tighten that up. It's our full length resize, so same thing, all the way down. I'm going to screw this down. So we want this to also just touch the shell plate. That's just contacting shell plate, same thing, we'll tighten that up. Now for our flare, bring this all the way down. And we're going to tighten this down until we feel just the mouth of the case. Right there. And bring that up a little bit. And now we're just going to slowly adjust that until we get the desired flare. So we're just slowly adjusting that flare die down. And we can try it. We've got a 9 millimeter round here. So that drops in there just enough to be able to grab that round. So now we'll tighten our flare die down. Now we're ready for powder. So now to set up our powder drop. We're going to continue to screw this in until this reaches the very top of its travel. And then once that reaches the top, we're actually going to back that off half turn. And then we'll lock that die in place. And then once we're ready to actually get our powder charge, we'll be able to adjust that further here. All right, we are not running a powder measure yet. So we're going to switch over now to our Mr. Bullet feeder. We'll get that set up. Now we're ready to adjust the dropper for the Mr. Bullet feeder. I do have a flared case in here, and what I'm looking for is that these bullets we put in will slowly drop into the case right there. So once that happens, we're going to go another quarter turn. We're going to lock that down. All right, so now it's properly set up. Let's try it out. Take that back out. Move our case back over here. That drops in, and that's taking a bullet. Perfect. So we are ready for our seating die. We move the press all the way down to its lower stroke. And then adjust this down until it makes contact. Once it makes contact, we can then start screwing that down a little bit further. And we can start measuring. We're looking for 1.125. It's 1.129. We're going to adjust that a little further. We'll remeasure. 1.125, perfect. So we'll lock that in. So we're ready to adjust the crimp die. We're going to bring the press all the way down, and then we'll screw the crimp die down until we make contact with the mouth of the case. Once we make contact, we'll bring that up, give that a little more twist, and we'll measure. All right. Adjust that just a little bit. We went from 0.386 down to 0.384. All right, we're good to go.
This has been a really fun project today. We went from receiving our Apex 10, unboxing it, looking at all the different accessories, setting up our case feeder, our bullet feeder, the powder measure, all of our dies, getting this thing ready to go so we can start reloading on it. Hope you guys really enjoyed this. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to help. Take care.